Teddy's Racing battery's been low in charge, and as you can see, I have quite a few chargers, but I decided to try to give this a full charge. One of the chargers that work pretty great for me is the one I use for my race car, this Optima battery charger. So this is an AGM battery. I'm setting it up. Currently is going to do a battery analysis. And then after that, it'll start the charging process. So this smart charger has been working very, very great for me. It saved many Optimum batteries. This is the recommended charger for a lot of the Optimum batteries, but it works very great on standard AGM batteries as well. So the charge is finished analyzing the battery, and now it's going through a charging process. So we'll let this sit overnight and see if we can fully recover this battery. Currently, it's giving an output of only 6 volts. So that's why a few times before, I definitely had other battery chargers as well as a jump box when I was testing out the fuel pumps. So that way we had a little extra voltage. Let's see if we can click these battery terminals on here just for reference. And this is just for before and after reference. Okay. Oh, wow. So, yeah, she's charging pretty good. Before, without, it went through an analyzing process. This was trickling. The battery output was only 5.8 to 6 volts. In fact, it's not going to hurt. Let's give it a chance to go through the same. Well, yeah, just for learning. We'll start from scratch. So that way people get a chance to see what the output is of this battery. So right here, 7 volts, which is good. It jumped up really quick. With this other Eversmart charger, another story. Had it on there for 2 minutes and no results. It just kept the same 5.8 to 6 volts, and as soon as I put this Optimal charger on there, this instantly jumped to 7 volts. So that would have been nice to capture that before and after test on video also, but I already saw the results. Let's go ahead and give this a chance to go through the process of analyzing again. So that's what happened. So either way, you get a chance to see this is a baseline. We're starting off with 7.5 volts, and we'll put our charger lead back on, connect the positive first, and then we'll connect our ground. And it'll go through a process where it starts analyzing the battery. And I have to make the selection. Of course, this is an AMG. And down is analyzing. And then it'll go through the process as you saw before. It'll start the charging. And it's pretty cool. While it's analyzing, you can actually see the voltage bouncing around on the meter while it's still in an analyzing process. And once it determines the type of charge to give this battery, then it kicks it up to the 15 volts as you saw. And it took, I want to say, maybe 45 seconds to a minute to go through a complete analyzation process, which is not long. Either way, if this will help create longevity for your batteries, it's a great charging tool to have. And back to what we were earlier, after it went through the analyzing process, you can see it's at a 75% rate. Once it gets to 100 rate, we should be pretty good when we hit 100%. And just for a quick reference, AC, DC, we're at DC volts. And let's turn on our light just to get a little better look. And we're at 14 to 15 volts. Okay. So we'll come back, as I stated, and I randomly always check on battery chargers while they're charging. I just don't let them sit and come back a few days later. Years ago, as a teenager, I've made that mistake before and actually overcharged batteries. That was not good at all. But with this smart charger, honestly, I leave it on my race car just around the clock, and it just fires up right off the bat. So you can leave this pretty much unattended, but I just usually make a common practice with chargers like this. That's not a smart charger or anything. You have to be very careful. You'll overcharge the battery and have possible leakage coming from your battery, and you can cause a battery to pretty much self-explode. Just worst case scenario, and you definitely don't want to get into a situation like that. But common practice, always double check on it just to make sure everything's okay. This, I leave chargers like this on my vehicle, my truck, and different things like that around the clock. No problem. It just keeps it charged. Very excellent as far as something like that on my truck. And this, for the race car, you want a high quality charger, smart charger. Also, one of the things that I failed to mention on this charger, I had it on there for about 2 minutes and it didn't do anything, but it actually went into a fault code at F01. That fault code is a failure to charge, or it pretty much represents a deeply discharged battery. A lot of times you'll have to use like a jumper or something to actually give it a kickstart, and the smart chargers, a lot of times will finally kick in. But if you have chargers that are below a certain voltage level, a lot of times they will not charge. That's why I'm pleased with this. Just to say it I haven't seen a lot of codes like that. If it's a deeply discharged battery, this has pretty much recovered. And as I stated, I was buying Ultima batteries, unfortunately, on a yearly basis. The automotive shops love seeing me. I was spending out $250 to $350 a pop easily, close to 300 over a pop on batteries, the Optimum batteries. And I was like, wait a minute, this is just beginning to be a yearly expense that's getting out of hand. And once I did the research of the type of charger I was utilizing to try to keep it charged up, I realized it was not the proper charger. And once I got that, the same battery that's on my car has been on there for the past 5 years, whereas I was buying Ultima batteries 3 to 4 years in a row, and that went to well over $1,000 to say the least. Whereas I could have made this purchase had I taken the time to do the research. But yeah, a lot of times the car sits over the winter time. You throw a trickle charger on there and take it for granted. Race season comes back up, and then you go to prepare for a race, go to the track, and your car won't start. Just shoot up to the store real quick, grab another battery, and that was the trend. And it was like, wait a minute, we gotta change something different. So failure code, failed to charge, deeply discharged battery, and that's why I wanted to kind of do a little quick video so that way we can see how this battery will recover, and hopefully it will. If not, that would not be good, that this thing is brand new, sat on the shelf for years, and did not recover. But I want to be in good hopes and say I think this little trickle charger will help it recover. We'll see. But this battery will be probably good for track use, or pretty much starting up the vehicle. We'll see. We'll see. I can't prejudge it and say that. Let me just recant that statement and just say we will find out. Long as it can get the vehicle started, for the most part, then we have the alternator that kicks over and then regulates all the voltage requirements for all the accessories that this car has, and running the Motec air conditioner, all the accessories that comes along with this vehicle, and all the computer modules. You definitely want a high output alternator, and which we do. We upgraded the standard alternator to, I want to say, from the standard, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but it was somewhere, I guess, around 150 amps to 180 amps, maybe. I think closer to 150 to 160 amp alternator, and from older videos. And then we upgraded to like a 225 amp alternator. Definitely something that has a lot more kick, and that alternator came on the later model Cayennes, Atlases, vehicles like that that has quite a bit of accessories on the vehicle, and that should help out substantially with this car, because this TT doesn't have a lot of the modules, the control modules and requirements that a lot of the 2008 and up, 2008 to 2016 Touaregs, Cayennes, and all that, they have a lot more accessories on those vehicles compared to this. I mean, even as far as power regulators for the windows, we only have two. And that would have at least four, for the 4-door. And of course, you have your hatch with all the accessories and wiper motors and different things like that. So we'll see. But if we do have an old battery that's worn and has been through quite a bit of usage, there's no recovery process that this is going to help out with that much. The original battery with this car, I did try to see if it would recover and charge up, and it was a no-go because the battery's old. It's been, the original battery was well over 5 to 6 years and definitely put in quite a bit of wear and tear, and we do have to end up getting a larger battery possibly for our normal use also. And we'll see. As I stated, we'll see if this can hold up and however long it will. If it does pretty well as far as startup and getting the car kicked over in different weather temperatures and conditions, then we'll just maintain this and let this be good to go. But if not, then we'll just pick up a pretty much standard battery that's rated for this vehicle and place it right in the original battery location.